No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host Maria is joining me via Zoom. How are you, Maria?
Hey, Liz.
Oh my gosh. The the news never stops. It's like being in a chaotic circle all the time. Now Bill Gates is in hot water, so I want to see him go down really bad because I hate Microsoft Word.
That's not the only reason, but
no,
okay.
But yeah, that's the tinderbox on it. It's like, yeah, okay, here we go. So let's see what else is going on. Oh, the mayor's race in Tampa is getting.
I wanted to talk about that because I noticed it's a crowded field.
Yeah. Well, the most interesting one that I saw yesterday is Lynn Hurtak, who, if you guys remember the Nepo Mom scandal, yeah, Lynn Hurtak won that seat. And so she's been on the city council. And so now she has declared she's thrown her hat into the ring, as well as Bill Carlson, who's also on the city council. So Builder Buddy Bob has got some real competition, because we don't need any more development in Tampa.
But you know what, though, too? Aren't we just kind of like tired of the retreads?
I am. I have been tired of the retreads, but apparently some people like to keep going back and just, paying homage, and here we go. It's like, what? So, let's see. We've already got email. This is a great thing. If I can get it open. Let's see. It's going to be a minute. Okay. So what else would you like to talk about today, Maria? Did you watch the State of the Union address?
There's literally not enough mind-altering substances to get me to watch that. And it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours of my life that I would never get back.
Right.
I learned a lot of things that I could do with 2 hours, and that is one of them.
I learned a long time ago that it was a complete waste of time, no matter who the president is, even if it was a president I liked, because it's just a commercial for the president and whatever pet topic he's bringing up. Okay.
But you know what? Here's the thing. I will confess to this. I had the television on with no sound because I was doing a bunch of things, right? Mm-hmm. And if you watch it without listening to it, it looked visually like a Klan rally.
Of course. It's and please elaborate on that.
First of all, his attacks on Ilhan Omar.
Yes.
Number one. And singling out what I read later was about really insulting Somali people. And people from the Midwest, and I and then escorting out, not even escorting out, but like having the woman who was arrested and detained. She's an American citizen
Yes.
from Minneapolis, and she was the guest of Ilhan Omar. He had her arrested for no reason.
Right. And
Right.
there are photos of her getting dragged out of the chamber. Also, Representative Green got dragged out of the chamber for holding up a sign that said, black people are not apes.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, my question is, with all the shenanigans going on, why did the Democrats even attend this dog and pony show?
They shouldn't have,
Exactly.
but
But nobody's got the guts to stay outside.
well, my contention is, there's an article in Current Affairs yesterday that literally, like, in ink, talks about what we've been saying for a long time. It's just time for these people to go. It's just time. They have no plan. They have no fight back. And essentially the good news is that this president has broken things so badly that you can't put them back together. Right? So like, why are we pretending that that's even a possibility of going back to what was,
Right. I mean, it's wrecked forever because now, people know the way to get things is not by following rules that were written long
Right.
ago. No, nobody's following the Robert's Rule of Order.
I also think that I don't even think that it's wrecked so badly. I think that this presents us with an opportunity, right? Like, I feel like we have to rediscover our imagination and our moral imagination about what is possible, and do that, right? Like, I think that we are no longer in a position to hope things go back to normal or wish things or whatever. I think that now you see that things are so badly broken. What are you going to do? Thus the reason why. When are your elections in Tampa, by the way? Not until November?
November, I think, yeah.
Okay. Our municipal elections are in 2 weeks.
Oh,
March 10th.
wow. So it's probably heating up down in South Tampa.
Yeah.
No,
we don't,
South Florida.
We don't have, we have a lot of contended races, but we don't have them that way. We don't have, like, you guys have like 10 people running for mayor, right?
I think
it'll
8 as of
it'll
this
probably
morning,
be what, like a runoff after that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's unfortunate only because there's a lot of places that people need to be thinking about serving. And that includes the state legislature, who are passing a bunch of atrocious bills up there.
Oh, absolutely.
But, it'd be nice if we actually found some fight back with respect to what's going on in the state legislature as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that, like, we need to somehow claw our way back out of this.
It's going to take a lot of imagination, yes. Okay, so here is the email that I was talking about. It says, "Good morning. Last week I was listening while driving to a doctor appointment. I was reminded of this quote that relates to your discussion near the end of your show. Some minds remain open long enough for the truth not only to enter, but to pass through by way of a ready exit without pausing anywhere along the route. And that is attributed to Elizabeth Kenny. Thanks so much, Patricia, for sending us that. Let's see. Oh, did you see who one of Trump's guests was? Erica Kirk.
Shocker. Shocker.
And I think she actually managed a real tear at one point.
Really?
That's
real.
Everybody was commenting, unless somebody like AI'd it into the photograph. Yeah, like not a dropping tear, a welling tear in her eye. So I can no longer say I haven't seen her shed a tear, because I saw one in the launching phases, but I didn't see it launch, but it was definitely there. So that's hey Donna, here is Donna.
She's there.
Our third host. How you doing, Donna?
If I had, I don't know. I'm not gonna bust in here with my problems. Just carry on as you were. I'll jump in when it makes sense.
We were talking. Yeah, we were talking about the State of the Union address that we didn't watch and saw clips from and things like that. And also the Tampa mayor's race is heating up. We got Bill Carlson and Lynn Hurtak challenging Builder Buddy Bob. So that'll be interesting. Did you watch the State of the Union address at all, Donna?
No, because I'm trying to do something with my life, and that kind of stuff stops me.
Exactly. It's nothing to me, but I was telling Maria, I don't care who is in office. I don't watch it because it's just, I would call it something really untoward, but I won't because Sean may be listening.
I mean, the thing about it is, I remember the good old days when we used to get frustrated at Biden and go, "Ow, wow, somebody must have given him a B12 shot," right? Mm-hmm. Like, he seemed like a little bit more alive. But this is just a complete collapse into the abyss. Mm-hmm. Like, he needed the podium to stand up.
Right.
He's
not looking well, for sure. We keep talking about the makeup on his hands and stuff. It's like the doom clock in Times Square. It's like, when is this long national nightmare going to be over? Not soon enough.
Every time New York Times sends an alert, I check it because I'm hoping that it's the moment.
Listen, every time they do some breaking news,
yes,
you get excited.
It's like, please let this be the moment.
Oh, and did you see? All right, last week the Mexican government killed off one of the big cartel leaders there, and Trump tried to take credit for that. And so the president of Mexico came back and said, "It was not you, it was me." So it's like, whatever possessed him. I mean, it's crazy. So, it's not looking like a better day. Let's see. This is from David, Mr. Whitepep Bryant. Hi, ladies. I wanted to thank you for mentioning the parallelogram of enemies last week during the pledge drive. Oh, that reminds me. Thank you so much for all of the folks who have donated to our show. It is not too late to donate more, or if you didn't donate the first go round, please go ahead and go to WMNF.org and you can donate online. We came a little short, so we need to hurry and make that up. Okay, let's see. He says, I tried watching the State of the Union, but I had to mute it several times because of Trump's wine fest. Have you heard from many MAGA folks who are waking up from their Trump coma? I bet those folks will dump Trump like MTG did. Unfortunately, David, no, I am not seeing a mass.
That's his rock solid bottom.
Yeah.
He's at his rock solid bottom. A third of America.
Yeah.
Is not changing their mind about this.
And it's like, how can that possibly be? But that's how hard racism and misogyny is ingrained in our country. Because if anybody with good conscience can't look at what's been going on and say it's right. They always say, it's like, Jesus said to welcome your friends or your enemies and all this kind of stuff. And the first thing they do is like, well, it's illegal for them to be here. Seriously, they're arresting citizens as well. People are, and speaking of, it's getting mighty icy down in St. Pete, I hear. I heard that they were out and about in St. Pete. So folks, be on the lookout and be careful because you don't want to get caught up in one of these debacles like they did in Minneapolis. I guess they think that people in Florida won't push back like the people in Minneapolis, but that remains to be seen. So, yeah. Don, are you still in St. Louis?
She's on
Yes.
mute. No?
Yes.
I am still in St. Louis.
Has there been much ice activity up there?
No, there hasn't been. It's a solidly red state. It's mostly segregated in the major urban core, and schools are failing. So everything's going right here. So
It's going exactly the way they want it to.
Yes.
Right, because they're not not looking to educate. They're looking to indoctrinate.
No, but we're talking about ICE. So you guys remember Aliyah Rahman?
Yes.
Who was arrested and had both of her shoulders injured, and the neurodivergent woman in Minneapolis.
Right.
Yeah.
Who was
About a month
arrested
or
at the
so
State
ago.
of the Union.
Yes.
Mhm.
And brutalized her again. She had to be taken to the hospital. She didn't get out of the hospital until 4:00 in the morning. And they're just after Minneapolis. And Representative Omar was right there at her side because she came as her guest.
Yep.
And it makes no difference. Like, no one can protect you from these people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, that's a good segue into this. Black people, my peoples, listen. Black people are like, ain't got nothing to do with me. And I'm like, are y'all serious? Like, do you know you can get snatched up too? And this guy, he said to me the other day, he stared at me, slow blink. And he said, I'm black. And I said, so are Haitians.
Right.
Yeah.
You silly goose, right? And so people without a political education, and I'm not saying black people don't have a political education, I'm just saying that people really believe that they can't get roped into this as a person, as a descendant of slaves, or as a black person that is who is not an immigrant. And that is wild to me.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk to William in St. Pete. Hi, William.
Hi there. Thank you for taking my call. The only thing that I think I need to say on the air is I don't know how in the world, for lack of a better word, that Trump could stand in front of Congress and the American people after the horrible thing, the insult he did to former President Obama and his wife. It just boggles my mind. He must be some sort of a psychopath where he has no conscience, that he can get out there and insult people at will, especially a former president of the United States, just because he's African American. Give me a break. What kind of right does he have to do that, especially to someone such as President Obama, who, in my opinion, I voted for him twice, was the greatest president I think we had since Roosevelt. And I'm just talking, but that's how I feel in my heart right now. How could he stand in front of the American people and say what he did, which is mostly lies, and what he did to the Obamas is unspeakable. I think that he needs to be put away. I think a straitjacket and a padded room would be perfect for him.
I think it's too generous to attribute anything he does to mental illness. I think he's always been like this, and we just didn't see it because he wasn't in a national platform. I mean, because the show, the Apprentice show that he did that made him really like a household name was very scripted, and it's like, okay, he's not a good guy. And you know who you don't see this go around? Ivanka. Ivanka's as far away as you can get.
Yeah.
Oh, she's weighed in a couple of times on some things, and she, like, especially on social media, will get dragged.
Oh, I'm sure.
Dragged.
Yeah.
If you ever happen to notice any pictures of him in his Oval Office, I read up on this. I don't know if it's true or not, but he has President Obama's portrait somewhere in the White House, probably in the basement. But he has Ronald Reagan right up there, up front. All the white guys he has up front. Now, I'm a white guy, but you know what? I wouldn't be where I have a doctorate degree. I wouldn't be where I am right now if not for an African American in my life who was my major professor and got me to where I am. God bless him. And you know, I think it's sad that he is being a bully just because of the color of your skin. It just irks me. It really does. And I just wanted to speak my piece. I was listening to your show here, and I thank you for your time. But, you know, the only thing that I have to say before I close is that I do have a lot of Republican neighbors on my block. And I hate to say this, but it's the truth. If Mr. Ed the Horse was running for president and he was a Republican, they would vote for him.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wilbur.
Exactly. They would. They don't care as long as they're Republican.
Wow.
And you know what gets me to? I see these rusted out trucks. I'm like, at least they're running. Okay, I can't discount that. You know, with 3 ball tires and 1 new one. And on the back of the truck, they have Trump. I said, what is the connection? I don't understand. Do you think that since you voted for a man who's extremely wealthy, it's going to rub off on you?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. Thanks so much for calling, William.
And thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Terry in Clearwater. Hi, Terry.
Hi, how are y'all today? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just wanted to say about our president, he has made the comment that he does not care about the Constitution. He does not care about the law. He is going to do what he thinks is morally correct
Right.
in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a man of no morals who my uncle with another company that, let's just say he wanted to do business with, they did a more thorough investigation of him than the FBI probably did, all the way back to the 6th grade.
Oh, wow.
This man enjoys being a bully.
Oh, sure,
His
yeah.
father put him in private military-ish type school because his father was afraid of what he was going to be doing to the neighbors.
Wow.
He was such a bully.
Yeah.
And Trump made below average grades, but he made a point to be spit and polish in his particular dorm so he could be boss. And
Right.
he enjoyed nothing more than telling people what to do. He has surrounded himself with yes men, which makes him incredibly dangerous. Now, second, on a rare fluke, when I was in college, I got to interview J. Paul Getty. And he was the richest man in the world at the time, for those who don't know. Anyway, J. Paul Getty told me when he bought companies that he in the world could not understand why they weren't making any money, that what he would do would be gather up the board of directors, and he would propose something that would deliberately bankrupt the company. And he would fire everyone that agreed with him. Because people would say, he said some of them even had the nerve to say they'd been thinking along the same lines themselves. But, you know, it was a very obvious, this will make us broke plan. And the people that disagreed with him, he kept. And he figured that was what was wrong with the company.
All right.
And a junior executive saved one of his companies once because they argued for over 20 minutes on the phone about something until they finally realized that they had sent J. Paul Getty the wrong paperwork. And if that guy had been Yazabals, it would have been real bad.
All right. Thanks so much for calling, Terry.
Just thought I'd mention that to y'all.
Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for taking my call.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Jennifer in Spring Hill. Hi, Jennifer.
Yes, hi. I've got lots of people that don't like Trump, and I've never been a Republican, and I was disappointed by the Democrats and Dem exited in 1972 because I just feel like a duopoly is repetitive. It's blue or red, and we could use more choices and voices. And I just wanted to give two positive things that I hope people will support. We don't have any Greens running in Florida that I know of, but Greg Stoker, who is a Green Beret veteran, he was in the Samud boats to Gaza. He was one of the people that went in a ship to help protect them, and he's running for U.S. Congress in Texas. And Anthony Aguilar, who was a whistleblower about the Gaza, that fake relief where people were lining up for food and they were getting shot. He was a whistleblower about that. He's running for Congress out of North Carolina. So if anybody is listening and in those areas, I hope they support Greens. And we could because we will work to get peace and justice and help the planet. So, I mean, it's all a good thing. And I think more voices will help from this repetitive back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we really don't have a duopoly anymore. I mean, they're all pretty much on the same side. But I get
some good ones.
Yeah.
Both parties, actually. I mean, I like Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie. I mean, it's like they're standing. I'm like, okay. And I never thought I'd like, Tucker Carlson.
Right. I mean, we're in the upside down now, so we're liking people we didn't used to.
Yeah.
Broken clocks.
I'm hoping people will be open to that and not think that, but we couldn't get Greens because they're doing well in the UK.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, they're about to win and beat out the Reform or whatever they are. I forget what they're called. But, they're a more liberal party, supposedly. But,
right. Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So it's good to get some new voices in, is all I'm saying. So thank you for your surly voices.
Thank you so much for calling, Jennifer.
Your goal.
Thank you.
So
bye-bye.
Right.
Speaking of meeting our goal, we got a donation from Tina in Brooksville, or as Tina says, crazy-ass Brooksville. And Tina has donated $53.70, and she says, love you all and the great illumination and perspectives you bring to all of us. Thank you hugely. Thank you, Tina, for helping us meet our goal. Now, y'all are going to be very excited about my next email. It is from Mary. And unfortunately, I don't have intro music for her. But anyway, let's see. Dear Surly Voices, I truly would love to move beyond my irritation with you all into a place of support and acceptance. But every time I tune into you, your snipes, your dismissal, your absolutism, so I'm justice so destructive to any form of communication or conversation. If you listen to, all right, I'm going to read all the way through it without commentary. So
You're a better woman than me. A much better woman than me.
if you listen to people like Elizabeth Warner, Jamie Raskin, Hakeem Jeffries, they all had their reasons for attending the State of the Union. Elizabeth Warner said she felt it was her duty to witness the Trump debacle. Others decided they didn't want to go, and they had their reasons. Cory Booker said he didn't want to dignify Trump's insane ramblings. I think both points are valid. Donna said she didn't listen to it because she has a life. Good for her, but some people did listen to it for their personal reasoning. I listened to it. I, like Warner, feel it is important to be a witness, and I'm a teacher, and I feel like it's important to be aware of what's going on in the world so I can respond to my students. Your message would be so much better received if you would be less dismissive, more open, and less dogmatic. I'm sure you will find some reason to mock me and put me down if you even bother to read this, as you have done in the past. I just suggest to you that there are different ways of experiencing what's going on. Your way is not necessarily the only way or the right way. How is it helpful to model and behave in the same way that Trump and his cohort is behaving? By name-calling, by disconfirming messages, by dismissiveness? All right, I think that's the end. Yes, that's the end.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, unless she sent a second one. Yeah. So Mary is a listener who sometimes calls, but more often writes. And she,
Mary is rage listening.
yes, rage
I
listening.
appreciate that.
But I appreciate rage listening.
That's kind of like how I watch Bridgerton and what's that other show?
You rage watch Bridgerton?
Oh my God, I hate that show so much. So much.
You're the only person that I've ever talked to that hates that show.
I hate it.
Because everybody loves it.
It's so redundant.
It really, I mean, it's fluff. It's romantic fluff, but
It's not even, it's not interesting. Right. They had that one good year, their first year. And after that, it's just been repetitive and tedious.
This year's the fourth season is really good, as good if not better than the first. So if that gives you any comfort, yes. But let's get back to Mary.
I don't like it. I'm with Maria. I'm entertained by the costumes, and it's just so wonderful.
Yeah.
It's visually, it's like a dessert.
Yes.
That you can have visually. The dresses, the entire, the Dapper Dans, like the whole Regency era is just beautiful, right? Victorian. But every once in a while, I have an attack, and I think about the servants and how all that great wealth was wrought. And then sometimes I just have to stop watching it because of that, because it tells the part of the story that's interesting, but not necessarily the part of the story that's the most true for the average person. So there's that. But I'm still watching. This season is exactly about, it's the story of Cinderella, right? It's the Brothers Grimm. And it is not interesting because you know exactly what's going to happen. It's like a lost glove and a man who's searching for his, the woman whose eyes he looked into one night. So it's oversimplified for me. I love the fact that you get to see all of this diverse, it's brilliant, the diversity of the
actors
cast.
Engaged.
Yeah.
But I watch it. I don't watch it for the storyline. That's for sure.
and for me, this year is the worst year.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
And
I agree.
the only reason why I powered through it was my best friend loves it. And he loves it. And I was like, okay, I got to get caught up so that we could talk about this thing. And I was just like, this is insufferable. Literally could feel the brain cells dying in my head.
Okay, let's get back on point and talk about Mary, because She did take the time.
Okay, but can I say something before we go into Mary, though?
Sure.
Because I was told by little birdie that we should be nicer to Mary, and that we shouldn't call her names, which I'm not sure we have.
We have not.
And that we sure just hear me out.
Okay.
And that we shouldn't allow other people to call her names. Now, what I will say is I will not give Mary the satisfaction of doing anything that borders on what she calls, to quote her, ridicule. Mm-hmm. What I will say is that the same way that she is fixed on her opinions and she's focused, so are we. So basically, Mary has failed to evaluate her own opinions. Now, I know that I'm not for everyone. And I think we all three know that.
Exactly.
But why listen to people that you don't disagree with? See, we take a cue from this, Mary. We didn't listen to the State of the Union because it offered us no new information, number one. And number two, why would I spend 3 hours listening to the ravings of a lunatic? I won't do that. And to say that we're doing the same thing that Donald Trump and his administration are doing is really wild. And I'll tell you why. We are not putting masked goons on the streets of some of the finest, most cohesive communities in this country. We are not shooting people in the back of the head. We are not taking away benefits from people who have given their life, their bodies to serve this country. We are not trying to stop women from having the right to their own bodies and bodily autonomy. We are not
molesting and arrest her for her email.
Yes, we are not molesting children. Okay, allegedly. But the other things, there's no allegedly for those things. Those things are actually happening, and they've been endorsed by our president and his lot. So to put us in the same category as the folks in D.C. and the things that they've done, and not that they've done for the last several years, but the things that they've done and the lies that they've told and the ways in which they have set us back on issues like vaccines and science in general, the way they're trying to sell us out right now. Pete Hegseth is trying to sell us out to take our civil liberties away by using private industries to surveil us and then mishandle us and absolve us of our freedoms. No, we're not doing any of that, Mary. What we're actually doing is we are giving people some emotional reprieve from the unbelievableness of it all. And to when you say, hey, I'm educated and I'm able to make these distinctions, but when you say things like that, you dismiss yourself. We don't even have to do it. You've done the work for us.
I cannot possibly improve over that very diplomatic assessment. And I mean, we have been the same way for what, Donna, 8-9 years now?
Yes.
Or almost 10 years. Yeah. We are the same today as we were 10 years ago. We haven't changed. And since we've done it so long, we're not going to change, unfortunately for you, Mary. But we're not here to toe the Democratic Party line. We are here to give our opinions on the various issues of the day. So, Maria, you want to add anything?
I really can't. I mean, the only thing I would say is that I don't think that we are the same as we have been for 10 years. We actually do take in information. We just don't allow other people to dictate what we think. You know, I think that we are capable. And the three of us get on this show and we engage in critical thinking and take in information, are informed by new information. But what we do not do is allow other people's opinions to dictate what we should be thinking and how we should be moving about in the world.
Okay, I have an email from Peter, or Pete. Pete says, what if Harris had won? Would we be much better off, and how?
I don't think that we would be arresting people in the streets.
That's
I think that there are parts of this world that would not have been like that much different. I don't think that we would have changed much about Gaza except for the fact that she probably would not have created her own board of peace that where the membership fee was $1 billion and that she would have made herself chair of the board for life. I think that would have been different. I think that we would not be masking. And then the other thing is that you would not allow a Black woman certainly to have that kind of power over a budget to impose tariffs and then have the Congress lay down like a mattress and not push back on her. I don't think that you would allow a Black woman to have that much control over the budget to grift every opportunity that they could to line her own pockets. Policy wise, I just think that you just would not have, I don't think that you would have what's going on actually happening that people are not paying attention to. I think that's the... Go on.
And we'd not be having the weird discussion of taking over Greenland, invading Venezuela, arresting heads of foreign state. We'd not be leaving agreements that we've made to not destroy the planet and engage in non-renewable resources in a way that not only harms the earth, but also harms the people and the animals on it. We'd not be losing, we would take care that if there were endangered animals, there'd be funds for that. There'd be funds for cancer research. There'd be funds for all sorts of research. We wouldn't have taken away aid to foreign countries, which is really what indemnifies about 80 years of soft power that the United States has brilliantly established. And would we be the country that we want to be? No. To the caller's point, absolutely not. But would we be in the deliberate, let's break things for no reason with no end? They didn't begin with the end in mind. There's no point to any of this. So you guys, Doge?
Can we talk about Doge?
Yeah.
And the epic failure and cost that was?
It's hurting my feelings that people seem to think that you're vastly between two poles. One is that we would be wholly different if Kamala Harris had been elected. We would still have the Gaza problem, right? Right. Would we be outlawing the word Zionism? No, probably not. Would we resolve the Gaza problem overnight? No. She was resolute and she was insistent upon not being any different than previous administrations on that. But to say that all the people who have died, you ask Alex Pretty's family if they think they're in a different situation, if it would have made a difference. Ask Renee Good's children if it would have made a difference. You guys have got to go deeper here, okay? That just because you're sitting in your house having a coffee and everything's right with the world and your pension is coming in the bank every month, it doesn't mean that young people are here fighting for their lives. They're being offered a lifetime of indentured servitude as a consequence of student loans and a 50-year mortgage and no reproductive freedoms. And you're like, oh, we'd have exactly that if Kamala Harris were in office.
Right, exactly.
Really?
And
really, guys?
Speaking of Kamala Harris, I read an article that said the DNC had done a postmortem on the election, and the biggest factor of her not getting the votes she needed was her position on Gaza.
The Gaza problem.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yep. And we told them
over the economy.
Yep.
The economy was number 2.
We kept saying this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. Nobody listens.
You know what that lady said earlier, where she said she hadn't been a Democrat since '72 because the duopoly didn't make any sense?
Yes.
That's the point that people who are having these conversations need to fix on duopoly. Just stay with that. Google it if you need to, but we're in a duopoly. We have a very narrow very narrow area of movement between two poles.
Right. Okay, I've got an email from John. He says, "Hi there. It's Johnny in Brooklyn, New York chapter of the Circle of
What you doing?
Resistance.
How you doing?
And we regularly listen and love Surly Voices." Thank you, Johnny. Let's see. On Tuesday, we flew back to Blizzardy, NYC from Fort Lauderdale, where I have a project. The JetBlue, we had a wide array of programming to view on the flight. I chose Caddyshack over Trump's State of Disunion, which is a better choice. Caddyshack is always a good choice, okay? Meanwhile, my wife and partner, Diana, is a book editor and celebrates the journalism finding that there are actual indexes to the files and that some are sequentially numbered and missing. Yes, there are items missing from the 2019 FBI, which should be there. There should be items related to the woman who had an underage sister involved in service to the current president back in the early 1990s. Lastly, we are too pleased that the Trump Epstein files are making the huge house of cards collapse, albeit slowly. Although I do like Excel, I absolutely hate Microsoft Word. Yes. So here's my first experience with AI to share with you from about 18 years ago. And he says, you remember that obnoxious paperclip that would always come like, "Oh, you need help?"
Oh, that was WordPress.
Oh my gosh, it did it in a lot of the Microsoft stuff as well, though. And it's like, "No, I don't need help. Go away." And then, yeah, it was wild.
I think it's hilarious because, like, who even uses paper clips anymore?
Yeah. Let's see. Ladies, do you know who the Josie is now that Chad Chronister backing her, please? Let's see. Chad Chronister's backing somebody.
Is that for Tampa?
Yeah, I would think.
I do want to, like, while you're looking that up, I do want to highlight the fact that in every other country, anyone associated with the Epstein files has not only resigned, but they are getting arrested and prosecuted. But only in America.
Only in America.
In America.
Yeah, a major part of an international child pedophile ring and
trafficking.
Yeah,
yep.
And trafficking. No, sorry, we don't know about Josie, but let's see. Josie Tomkaw, maybe. Let's see.
But
Senate District 14, special election. Yep.
Is that a house seat?
Let's see. To replace Senator Jay Collins, who is now serving as lieutenant governor. So it's got to be a Senate seat. If Chad Chronister is backing her, I don't think she's a good person to vote for, but that's my opinion only. I am not familiar with Josie Tomkaw or her work. She's a representative now. I do know that. So that's the extent of it. But we'll look into that and get the real dirt on her or the real scoop on her. Help. Most people do not know the Tampa area has a special election in March. Please announce.
Is that the March 24th or 25th election?
The deadline to register is February 23rd, and
which was
March,
3 days ago.
Yeah, early March. All right, election day, March 24th. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's the same as us. We have a special election on the 24th as well
Okay, let's see.
for House seat.
Austin says, preach, Donna. I appreciate that you allow Mary an opportunity to speak for her do-nothing Democrat. Why can't we all get along mind? But that thinking is what allowed us to get to this point. If more Dems got PO'd like you Surleys, we might start digging out of this mess. Thank you for always laying it out without putting an establishment costume on the issue. America is not Bridgerton. Austin in Tampa. Thank you, Austin.
I appreciate the Bridgerton reference.
Yeah, it's like Austin would be a good Bridgerton name, but yeah. Let's see. Somebody, this is Vino says Gaza would have changed and Israel would not have had carte blanche. ICE would not be what it is. Soft power would be intact. The damage to the country's psyche would not exist. These are reasons or things that would have happened.
So many reasons, right? The thing about it is that like this country, we saw how they operated with Barack Obama, and quite frankly, Barack Obama is as much of a centrist,
yes,
as you are ever going to see. But these people like criticized his tan suit, as opposed to they were perfectly fine with his policies, and in fact thought his policies were radical, and when in fact they were not at all.
Right.
And I can only imagine the amount of hypercriticism a woman of color would have in that office, right? Like, it would have been insane. And it wouldn't have mattered what she did at that point. Like, she would not get away with a scintilla of what this guy is getting away with.
That's true,
not the grifting, we're not like masked marauders parading around pretending to be federal agents. Like all of the things that are going unremarked. This past week there was a congressional, not a congressional hearing, but a hearing. The Democrats did a hearing about ICE, and there was an attorney who was supposed to have trained members of ICE, and he resigned because they got a memo saying that that it was their intention to violate citizen or Americans or residents' Fourth Amendment rights, right? Everybody, regardless of whether you're a citizen or not, when you live in the United States, you are able to, I'm looking for the word, you enjoy constitutional rights, right? Mm-hmm. And his testimony was that he was told to train these people to disregard the Fourth Amendment right. And as a result, he resigned. And he testified before the hearings in Washington, D.C. He's like, this is basically a whistleblower. It's like, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm. We've got one email that says, I made a big donation to your show last week, and my comment was, I don't agree with everything you say, but I respect you and love the show. Somehow it got put on another show's ledger. So she called Miss Julie and corrected it and put it on ours. Yay. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Unfortunately, we are out of time, and Frank just gave me the finger. So we're going to have to pick up the discussion again next week. But thank you so much for listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5.
I
like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula. I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving wrong. I do what they say I can't. They call me Cardi, Cardi, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale, hotter than a Somali. Bird, go, Ferrari, hop up the stoop, jump in the